Just start. All right, okay, start. Hello, guys. And welcome. Oh. Hello,
I
guys.
got it.
Welcome to In the Zone. I'm your host, Bobs. With me to my on camera it's my right, but to you guys it's my left. But over here is Matthew. Matthew, say hi and introduce yourself.
Uh,
A little bit like it. Is
What?
there anything you want to introduce yourself with? You know, any fact about you, anything like that?
Yeah, I'm a really like die-hard Rockets fan. That's pretty much what you're gonna get the gist of. So like anything that's like sensitive near towards what Harden is or what Russell Westbrook is, I'll probably get really defensive about it. Other than that, I'm a pretty neutral balance
I'm not
fan
gonna
of
lie.
the
I
NBA.
thought you were about to like whip out this.
And what would you like people to know about you?
I'm a fun guy.
With basketball.
For those of you who don't know, this is Kawhi Leonard.
I mean, it's just more questions you have to ask me in order for me to tell you about myself. I just can't give you a whole spiel.
I don't
even know where you're sitting at.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
that's such a bad
Literally,
laugh.
that's how it is. Whenever you're like,
Dude, he's like a literal
whenever you're at
robot.
school, that's literally how it is, man.
Dude, I've got to get that. If I get a soundboard, that's the first sound that's going on there. As well as when someone does like a terrible take. You remember? Did you watch The Last Dance? Did you ever watch that? The Last
Oh
Dance?
yeah.
You remember whenever he's like talking
Mm-hmm.
about Cleavy, he's pumping his arm, he says, "Go the F home" and all that stuff? That's going to be the second thing I'm going to add to that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow, guys, today we are talking NBA, 2K, jobs, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of driving, but the most is going to be the NBA and 2K and how the bubble affects us, best 2K teams. So, Matthew, which one do you want to start with? Do you want to talk about the bubble really quick?
Yeah, let's actually talk about the bubble right now.
Okay, so first of all, what do you think of the idea of
So,
basketball getting back? Do you think it's a good idea to come back this early, or do you think that they should have waited?
I think the NBA actually handled it extremely well as opposing to other sports. Soccer has their own way, which I also feel like they're doing it pretty well. I don't know how, that is working out, and it just looks so empty since the stadiums are so big. Luckily with the NBA, they established a whole basketball area over in Orlando in the bubble.
Matthew, what is wrong with your internet at this
Hold
point?
on, just 1 second. Yeah, let me check. Hold on, just 1 second. Let me connect real quick.
Hold on, I'm gonna pause this recording.
Better connection to me now?
Yeah, I mean it's not lagging immediately. Yeah, I can see you now. It's not like taking a few seconds. But yeah, continue about the bubble. Do you think it's worked right? Do you think it's worked as like good as they would have wanted?
Worth the risk?
No, yeah, like do you think it was worth the risk to bring the players back to try and make the money immediately? And two, do you think that the bubble itself is doing its job right?
Yeah, it's doing its job like really well. I really like what they're doing. Actually, when I was watching some of the scrimmage plays this morning, it's actually not as awkward as I thought. I thought it would like be weird without any of the fans, but how the way they made it was pretty well. The only problem with it is that most players aren't actually playing the players that we want.
Yeah.
KD, Kyrie, basically
the entirety of the LA Clippers bench. I mean, come on, Lou Will.
Yeah,
Lou Will.
Now,
Okay, so wait. So hold up. For what you got, I mentioned Lou Williams, guys. This is the issue with the bubble. There's a snitch hotline, but that's not what my concern is right now. My concern is the players going outside of the bubble. And so what ended up happening with Lou Will, I don't know if it's like a current day thing. He went out to get them like food or something like that. And then apparently, or no, it was to a funeral. I'm thinking of someone else who went to get food, but it was to a funeral in like Atlanta, which like, okay, fine, it's a funeral. Go ahead, I don't think anyone's opposing him going to a funeral. But the problem is eventually he was spotted at a strip club with his friend. So it's like, wait,
oh my Lord.
Are you kidding me? Like that's the best way to spread the virus. If you go to, those girls are nasty, bro. Like, come on now. Like, what are you doing, man? You're coming back into an environment where it's supposed to be quarantine, and yet you still go and have fun,
Party.
so to speak.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
like
Look,
I don't think the bubble is working as perfect as it should be, but I think it's still working. But as you mentioned with the soccer thing, I watch a lot of soccer myself. I call it football, but for the purposes of you guys, I'll call it soccer. But because of the fact that I've been watching, I've kind of gotten used to the fact that there's no fans, and I feel like the NBA is doing a lot better with their fans than the soccer world does with theirs. Because there's only so much you can do in the soccer realm, because the soccer realm grows. Like, I feel like that requires more people because there are chants and stuff. There are specific
the
things.
fans literally make the
Yeah.
game over in soccer.
Yeah, like that they make the game basically. Yeah, like the teams are nothing without them. At least the NBA, you still have like the star powers over and over and over. But like some games, like so for example, there's a team called Udinese. They play in Italy. They're like known as some of the best fans in the world. They're just so passionate. But because the team sucks, no one cares to watch it without the fans. It's like no one's paying attention to them anymore because they
It's
don't.
like the New York Knicks of soccer.
No, but
they
the
got some
Knicks are actually
diehard fans.
popular. The Knicks are actually like they're still worth the most out of the NBA, which makes no sense. But whatever, James
the
Dolan's
Garden.
some over there. But yeah, like I feel like the fans without the fans in the NBA, yes, it loses its luster, especially when it comes to the playoffs, which we'll get to the playoff stuff in a bit. But I feel like they're doing a lot better, especially with the sound effects. Did you see the free throw, the Nuggets guy, the free throw routine? Whenever he's like whenever he missed a free throw, the announcer played the bruh sound, and then he missed the second one, and he hit the yeet. Yeet.
Yeah, some of the announcers that like are on there are so funny. I don't know why.
Yeah,
like one of them.
They get the chance to shine. I like how they're doing it without the fans. I thought it would be a big issue with the NBA, playing for the fans and all that stuff. But they're doing a pretty good job, I feel. All right,
Adam Silver is handling very, very, very well with the teams. Like I said, the only problem is just like the players actually going to the bubble. We don't really have that many players that are, going into the bubble accepting their role, and New Orleans, we got like I don't even know why New Orleans is there anymore. If there's not going to be any Zion, there's nobody going to watch, really, to be honest.
I mean, they still have Lonzo Ball, to be fair, and they still have JJ Redick and Brandon. Did they still have Brandon Ingram? I'm pretty sure they brought him to the bubble. Like, they still have a good team. It's just
no, they don't have Brandon Ingram.
What?
I don't think so. I don't think they have. All they have is Drew Holiday, and I don't think they got Lonzo either. I don't know what's going on.
And they had the easiest schedule remaining, like, quite frankly. Like, they played, like, the 76ers and the Raptors, and that was it. And everyone else is, like, the Magic, the Wizards.
Speaking about the 76ers, dude, you remember their home record. Like, it was insane. Like, their home
they had,
record
like, 5 losses total out of, like, 40 games, as it felt like, Like,
now that they don't have – now that
they don't have a home – yeah, do you think that really is going to affect them? Like, look at the Magic. Like, they're literally everyone's on their home court, like at this point it doesn't really matter, like the Magic is still going to be garbage and Philly's still going to have something, they still have star power and Simmons and Embiid, Tobias Harris, all of them, I don't know. How many of those are actually there? I'm pretty sure all of them are there. I haven't watched
they should be.
Yeah, I haven't watched
Ben Simmons is playing power forward now, and
I know, so he doesn't have to shoot.
Yeah, he made his first 3 though in the scrimmage.
Okay, so wait. So do you think the playoffs is going to be a little bit lackluster, and do you think that there's going to be an asterisk next to the NBA champion? Because I feel like if it's any, I think it's always going to be if like LeBron wins, there's going to be an asterisk next year because of LeBron haters, LeBron sexuals. And
oh, I get what you mean.
I feel like there's going to like. Do you think if the Clippers win it, or if the Rockets win it, or like hell, the Raptors win it, do you think there's still going to be that asterisk next to it? Or do you think
most definitely. There's always going to be that one person that says, well, if we didn't have to go into quarantine or they weren't in the bubble, then they wouldn't have won it. There's obviously going to be that asterisk. But either way, it's still going to be, a ton of fun going into the playoffs. Maybe we'll see some spotlights on some players that we never knew of, some Fred VanVleets, we never know.
Okay, you didn't know about Fred. Dude, my man Fred VanVleet looked like Drake. I remember that's the only thing I remembered about him beforehand, before he started that playoff run about coming in clutch. I knew he looked like Drake. I was like, dang, this dude looks like a light-skinned Drake. But yeah, I feel like I feel like it's not gonna have as big of an effect, like the non-home court, until you get deep, deep into the playoffs. Like the Lakers versus the Clippers, they literally play in the same stadium. Like there's no home court with that shit. You know, like it's like, oh man, we normally it's like if you're playing Milwaukee and LA, that's one thing, you know, because Milwaukee is like a far flight away from. It's like a 10, 12-hour flight. It feels like, you know,
Yeah,
or 10,
same
12
with Portland.
10, 12-hour drive, like 3 or 4 hour flight. You know,
Mhm.
like that's a big difference. But like if it's Clippers, Lakers, I don't think it's gonna make a difference. Dallas, Houston, not gonna make a difference. Any of the Florida teams, not gonna make a difference. You know, like I feel like the home court's not gonna be as big of an effect as people think it is, unless it's like Toronto, Milwaukee. You know, the places where they're notorious for like that is a loud place, that is a tough place.
Toronto has like probably the strongest fans out of all the franchises.
That's the only one I can see that's truly going to be affected by it because they're so far away from home and they don't have the fans. You know, I feel like that's going to affect. But like again, Lakers Clippers, they literally both play in Staples Center. How the heck do you count it as a home game for either? Like normally I think I remember there was a line from Ray Allen. He said like normally whenever you go on the road, it's like, damn, I'm in a different bed. I'm in a different room. I don't even know how this air tent smells. You know, this water tastes. What the heck was this? Did you just? Never mind.
Well, I don't know. With Ray Allen, he's always been like a wild card of a player. You know, he has a very supreme OCD. Like if you really study him over the time where he used to study that last Miami shot he took, he used to study those shots and take them all the time when he was practicing. So,
yeah, I remember I read his autobiography. He said like he did that drill where he like ran back and he had a coach throw it, and the coach would always question, he's like, dude, you're never gonna take the shot. He's like, you never know. But like Ray Allen made the good point. It's like whenever you're on the road, it's a different bed, it's a different room, different air, different water. Everything's different. But the second you go home, it just feels so comfortable. You get to lie in your own bed again. You know, we feel it whenever we do trips. You know, like. Whenever you're gone for like a week and you come back home, you see your like people, things you know, you're
your
like
family, yeah.
You're like, yeah, you see your pets, your family, your friends. You're like, this is better. You know, like even though you might like to refresh, eventually you want to come home. You know, it's home. You know, but I feel like if it's like Lakers, Clippers, Dallas, Houston, like the northern team, like the Bulls, Milwaukee, no one really cares. You know, like it's not that big of a difference. You know.
Yeah.
The farther away you get from the country, the worse it's going to be for the whole group, you know, affecting your team, you know, against everyone else. So what do you think about the play? Do you think the playoffs are going to take a huge hit in terms of ratings, or do you think they're going to go higher?
I think they should go higher since nobody has nothing else to do. Like, you know, this is quarantine time, so not really anybody's going to have that availability to watch. People have more availability towards that type of entertainment, and people have been hyping this up for, you know, how to have sports back. You know, if you really look into, I wanted to bring back to the actual bubble itself. Have you watched JaVale McGee's vlogs?
I saw that he had, was it Kyle Kuzma that took over, or was it Alex Caruso that took over? I watched that one.
Kyle Kuzma took over.
Yeah, I didn't watch much else. That was the first one I had watched, and that was the first time I had known that he actually did a vlog. What happened with those?
He basically shows like the whole life in the bubble. Like they test you every single day. They show you the food. He shows you the rooms.
It's like absolutely, yeah. You remember like who was it that posted that on the thing? Was it LeBron that posted like a crackers and cheese, like a small piece of meat like this big, a piece of that's like that big, and then like a grape. And it's like, dude, that's what they have to eat to maintain their rigorous form. Like, come on, they're all gonna lose weight at this point. You know, like, yeah.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, continue. What were you saying about that? It's like he shows the everyday life basically, and how they have to go with.
How they practice, basically what they exactly do. They actually have the whole Disney World place to them. You know, it's kind of cool. They have their own barber shop, if you notice that.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron and AD could both use that thing real quick. I mean, have you seen their hair? Their hair is all over. It's like grown out afro. Their beards are like, they have beards now.
Jamal Murray, like, he looks very weird, man.
I mean, he looked weird on his Instagram story, if you know what I mean. You know, know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, like freaking. I don't know what's going on with hairstyles during quarantine time. You know, James Harden has the dreads. I don't like that. It doesn't work.
Okay, speaking of James Harden, what do you think? How do you think this bubble is going to affect the Rockets? Because Russell Westbrook and PJ Tucker. Russell Westbrook had COVID, and PJ Tucker came out saying that, like, you know, they got really feisty, basically fighting each other every day because they are only the ones that they can practice against. PG Tech.
Wait, who got feisty?
The whole team. It's like the practices got like physical, like really really physical, like 90s style Detroit. Like everyone was like getting ready to go into fights because that's all they had seen basically.
Wait, them going against other opponents?
Yeah, no, them going against themselves. Like they were fighting each other. He said because of the fact that they had only practiced against each other. It's like normally NBA players. He said NBA players normally practice against other people, but they had only been seeing each other. They already knew what everyone was going to do, and so everyone would always like fight each other to get their spots and stuff. He said that they're welcome and happy that they're going to play the Nuggets or something like that. That they'll play someone who's different. Because that was who the first scrimmage is going to be against was the Nuggets. Who ended up?
Yeah.
I think the Nuggets won that. Bobo went off, dude. Like that man is.
No, they didn't go. We haven't gone against the Nuggets yet.
No, they did. Yeah, they did. I think they did. Yeah, the first scrimmage. I'm like pretty sure that they went against the Nuggets. I think because that was the game that Bobo was playing in. I think because I remember they had the small ball versus the big ball. They had Jokic at guard and.
Wait. Nah, they haven't played yet. They haven't played
yet.
No, not yet. People are anticipating it. Small ball versus big ball.
Do you think that? But yeah, back to the reg. Do you think that the bubble is going to affect them more than other teams, or less than?
Nah, not at all. It shouldn't really. Our fans are just as regular as maybe Atlanta Hawks fans. It's not really that big of a deal.
Is that a shot at the Atlanta Hawks?
No, I'm saying our fans are just as it would be for the Atlanta Hawks fans. They're kind of the similar way. Of course they're gonna chant for their team. They're not really known fans.
Yeah.
Fans that I believe don't even root for their own team is the Knicks and the Spurs, and that's about it.
No, the Spurs root for the dude. Have you been to San? They're crazy about the Spurs. Regardless if they're garbage or not, they love the Spurs. No, the Knicks. The Knicks hate their own team. I swear, they should just kill the team.
Yeah, that's so true. No, it's just with the Spurs, they're very boring to watch. Extremely boring. And, if you look at the views.
That's how they didn't play. That's how they got their rings. I don't think anyone in San Antonio is questioning that they're, dull compared to NBA standards today. But they still got their rings, and they're still competing. Which, speaking of competing, who do you expect at the end of this? Do you think the bubble is going to change who the contenders are? Or do you think it's going to still stay the same?
I think they'll still stay the same. Who
do you think name the 4 teams that you think, if they're in the finals, you're not surprised. Name 4 teams that, if they're in the finals, you're like, wow, okay, they made the finals, but they're still a good team. And then name the 4, it's like, if they make the finals, you might as well just kill the game of basketball.
I just want to be honest. I don't believe in Milwaukee. I have a strong feeling they're going to get knocked out from someone that's a lot smaller than them. Either it will be Toronto or it will be maybe even –
I think the only team I can see knocking out Milwaukee this time around – last year I could see 100% I could have seen Kawhi stopping Giannis because he's the only player who I would say, you know what, if he wants Giannis one-on-one, go ahead, take him. He's the only one that can slow KD, slow LeBron until it's –
But what about Miami and what about Philadelphia? Those teams
that was the team – Philadelphia is the team that I'm like, if they beat them, I could see it happen, But I think – Tier 1, I think it has to be Lakers-Clippers. I think everyone expects one of the two to be in it. If they're not in the finals, we might as well just kill ourselves because
if you've been watching a lot of Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. They've been saying instead of the Last Dance, this is for LeBron's version, the Last Chance, because he's got no other chance, to really attack.
No, he's got plenty of chances. I think he's got 4 years left in him of high, best player in the league basketball. But I think
I don't know.
The Rockets should be put into Tier 1, but I don't think they are because they don't have the big ball anymore. They don't have.
I got them as a second-round exit.
I can see it. I see them losing to the Clippers. They played the Clippers the best out of everyone, apart from the Lakers and the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I think they played them the best. I think Tier 1 has to be the Lakers, the Celtics, and the Bucks. I think the finals in order.
Celtics are a dark horse. Celtics are a very big dark horse when it comes to the bubble.
I think that's Tier 2. I think they're I think that they're good enough top to bottom that they still have a squad, but they don't have that one person who's he's gonna win them this game. Last year, even though that Kyrie was dysfunctional, was crap for the team, and he ruined the team chemistry, he was still that one player that they could always go to and say, you know what?
But they kind of do have that. They kind of do have that chemistry because remember when Kyrie was out.
Yeah, they were killing everyone. They beat the Sixers. They took the Cavs to 7, which they really should have won that series. The only reason they lost, as Mike Green could put it, is they didn't lose to a great team. They lost to an all-time player. That's what he said in the middle of the broadcast. He said the Celtics.
Wait, hold on, just 1 second.
Yeah, hold up. You want me to pause?
Okay, all right, let's go.
All right, we had a little bit of an issue there, guys. Matthew was a lazy ass and didn't find out that his schedule actually included today. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that Matthew just didn't check. But, Matthew, what happened to you? Hold up. I'm going to have to pause this yet again. All right, well, we're back. Technical difficulty. It wasn't technical difficulties. It was literally just Matthew forgot that he had to work today. Oh my gosh, Matthew, I'm having to pause this like 20 times, man. Okay, oh yeah, tier 1. Okay, so tier 1, in my opinion, you can argue after I've said my split. Tier 1, so the teams I expect to be in the finals, one of the Lakers and Clippers and the Bucks. Tier 2, the Raptors, the 76ers, the Celtics, and the Rockets. I think those are fair statements. Like, if they're there, like.
What about Miami Heat?
I don't think they have the stop for Giannis, because at this point they're like the 4 or 5 seed, so like they're gonna have to go through Giannis. Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, like all of them, Bam Adebayo, they got stars, but like I don't think
Olynyk.
Dean Wade, yeah, like they have stars, they have ability, but I don't know if they can actually finish off the Bucks. I can see them taking 2 or 3 from the Bucks. I can't see them winning the series and against the Bucks. That's the problem with it. That's why they're not in tier 2 or tier 2. You can say, yeah, I actually could see them beating the Bucks.
Tier 2, they need to have a distinctive star, like someone they can pass the ball to. And
like Harden, Westbrook. I think the problem and the Nuggets. I think I'm going to include the Nuggets. They always get slept on. I think that Nuggets team, if they matched up with the Clippers or the Lakers, that's the worst matchup for the Lakers, because
if they get that that tall
Rockets,
ball. I guess
yeah, the Rockets versus the dude. That's the one. If I would ever pray for one series other than LA versus LA, it's gonna be the Rockets versus the Nuggets, just so I can see small ball versus big ball.
Small ball versus tall ball. That would be really
Bol
cool.
at center versus PJ Tucker is gonna be a rape fest. At least for Bol. Like, I can't see PJ Tucker stopping. Like, they're just going to post him up every single play.
Well, Bobo is actually playing small forward, so it would be like, someone like Eric Gordon or maybe Ben McLemore versus Bobo. It's going to be – but, I mean, think about it. Russ will kill anybody that comes to the rim. So, I mean, like –
yeah, like, Joe, dude, you imagine – like, that's the problem with the big ball problem is the fact that they can't defend the threes as well as, the paint. But they're still good defense. Like, Jokic at guard, Jamal Murray at guard. Like, the average height of that lineup is 6'9". Do you know how stupid that is? I think that's no way.
Jeremy Grant, a power forward, is a small.
That was the smallest person on the court whenever they did that lineup. It was Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, Paul Millsap, Bol, and then like whoever the heck was Mason Plumlee for center. Yeah, the smallest person was Jamal Murray, and he's 6'6". The next smallest was Jokic, who's 6'10". Like, jeez. Like, dude, imagine the boards for that team. That team is getting like 30. That's something that you do in 2K, which we'll get to in a second. But for tier 3, okay, so tier 1 was Bucks and the LA teams. Tier 2, Rockets, Nuggets, Celtics, Raptors, and 76ers. Tier 3, if they make it in, the Trailblazers, I think the Heat have to be in tier 2. I think the Pacers could be in tier 3. There's like these are the teams that, like, if they make the finals, they had to have an insane run. Someone had to have a Kawhi Leonard, Dirk Nowitzki, LeBron James type run, or they like just absolute BS calls came with the way. The Jazz need to be included in here. Like BS calls had to go the way of the Thunder. Like there had to have been some mistakes made by the other team rather than them winning against them.
Let's not sleep on Dallas. Dallas also has a really good.
I don't think that they're too early to be a legit threat to the big boys. I don't think they can. I think they can push them. But like 6 games, but I don't think they're a threat to the big boys. They're a threat to the middle tier, like bottom of the high tier, if that makes sense.
I got a strong feeling. Like all the way aside from everybody, I got a strong feeling that Luka Doncic and Kristaps. I have a strong feeling Kristaps is gonna get injured. Something has to ruin that. Although I want to knock on wood, something's gonna ruin that.
I hope not. I hope that would be so crippling to them again. But like,
Mhm.
what do you think that's accurate to put all those teams in there? You know, like the Grizzlies, the Heat, the Jazz, all of them at tier 3, the Thunder, the Mavs. I'm not
Yeah.
the Magic. There's no way in hell they beat anyone. You know, like the Nets at
I don't
this
know
point
why the
can't beat anyone.
Warriors, the Wizards, excuse me, the Wizards are in there. There's no
Yeah,
point in
like,
having the Wizards.
but they don't have Bradley Beal. That's the issue. Did you not see that? He said he's not going to go to the bubble, just not risk it. You know, so they don't have anyone. You know, like there's no point in playing them. You know,
Like, who's
the
gonna
Wizards
carry
are
them?
pretty
If
up.
Smith, Thomas Bryant.
Dude, no one cares. But Thomas Bryant, you really mentioned Thomas Bryant?
No, I'm just saying,
Come
like,
on,
no
man,
one is gonna carry them. No one's gonna take them there. Atlanta
exactly.
Hawks, I
Kwame
feel
Brown.
bad. Vince Sanity, that's gone now.
Oh
You
man.
know, yeah. How
The
many
Hawks
years
fan,
was that?
that
Like
one hurt.
22.
When I saw that, that one hurt. Did you know he was the last player from the '90s? That was a mad.
He's the last player from the '90s. It's
Last
crazy.
player from the original 2K, like 2K 2000. And I was like, geez, man, that just gives perspective. Like, I remember they showed the graphics of him, like in 2K 99 or whatever it was,
hmm
versus what it was now. It's like, geez, man, technology. You know, it makes him feel old. You know, like, but he's had a great career. But anyhow, all right, so
Let's get to 2K.
yeah, all right, so okay, so let's first of all talk who are the best teams that in tier 3, tier 2, tier 1, and who are the best players in each tier. So I'm gonna start off with tier 3, all right, and you can agree with whether or not. I think the Kings, the Hawks, the
King.
71 Knicks, the 71 Knicks are hella underrated on that game, and then the Trailblazers. I think those four should be the primary one for anyone to use, and I'll explain why. Right. So
Wait wait, what?
for the okay, so you know the Play Now system, right? The Play Now Online.
Oh,
We're gonna do that since that's easier to do it since it's separated for each of us to talk about. So I think the historic Knicks, the 71 Knicks, I think the historic Trailblazers, I think the Kings, and I think the Hawks. All right, so my explanation for the Kings is the fact that Marvin Bagley feels like he has the Intimidator uh, badge on like gold levels. Like I swear, no one gets buckets other than DeAndre Ayton, and even then, he still struggles. You know. And then they have De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield off the bench, Bogdan Bogdanovic. You know, let me think who else. Holmes, Jabari Parker, Alex Len. You know, like this team has depth. That's the biggest thing that I hate with the historic teams. The fact that most of them don't have depth. You know, like the Trailblazers are great, but they have an 8-man rotation before you get into the generics. You know, like Greg Oden, Cunningham, and then Patty Mills are your only bench option. You know, they have the all-time starting five. You know, that's starting five in real life. Oden, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Brandon Roy. Fun fact, that starting five in 63 games that they all three played went 53-10. You know, like that team was stacked. You know, like if they were all, that's one of the greatest what if teams because that team was so good. You know, they were ahead of their time. They had size, speed, skill.
yeah,
know?
mid-range killer Brandon Roy. He was really killing.
Yeah, and they do a good job with Brandon Roy. I feel like if you only use one player, the Trailblazers suck. But if you use the 6 men correctly and then the other two to help rest the key players, I feel like this team is a sleeper team. But I think the ultimate sleeper team is the Knicks because I've never played someone who used the Knicks. I was the first one I've seen use the Knicks. The 71 Knicks are stacked. Walt Frazier, Willis Reed, I forget
I
his
was
name.
gonna say like the '98 Knicks.
No, the 98 Knicks are like team effort, but they have like if you are great with team and you score like 4 points with every person, then I feel like the 91 or the 98 Knicks are in there, but they have no star player, you know, that you can just go and get bucked. And I'm gonna open
true.
I'm gonna open up the roster so I can read off the names, but they have 4 or 5 80 plus rated, and then a few 70ish rated players, and then a few other ones, you know, like I use the generics because the generics are actually like decent on this game for some reason. You know, like at least at guards. You know, like honestly, the generics actually like at guard they can post up. Like I swear, it's so because they're all like 6'8", so like they're all bigger than the guard. So you just put them at the guard position, they just post up and just hope you make it. You know, but I feel like the Knicks are the most underrated tier 3 team. And the Hawks, they have the offense to go with anyone. You know, like that offense can just blow people out of the window just like that. You know, Trae Young, John Collins, I sub him on the bench, or I put him on the bench as a 6th man to lead the overall rotation. And so I sub him on and I play him like that. But as a Hawks fan, I think they did us right. The playbook for us is dead accurate. You know, like it's mostly just 3-and-D. You know, it's like playing zone with them is like really help. Let me read off the Knicks so I can just give you the scoop of who they have. All right. Walt Frazier, 93. Jerry Lucas, 85. Dave Dubashere, 83. Willis Reed, 83. Dick Barnett, 80. Earl Monroe, 78. Bill Bradley, 76. Phil Jackson, 71. David Williams, the generic guard,
You got the
68.
greatest coach on there.
And then they have Luther Lackley, who's 7'3", and he is like the Intimidator Hall of Fame. That's his only badge, is the Intimidator Hall of Fame. And actually, no, Glass or Rebound Chaser Gold. Intimidator Hall of Fame and Glass or Rebound Chaser Gold. Those are the two biggest ones for the big men. You know, like this man has everything, even though he's 65 overall. But because he's so big at such a small time, he's like a big mismatch. So I think that's probably the most underrated team in the tier 3. That's my pick. I think the Knicks are also, or the 76ers are also good. The Julius Erving, you know who I'm talking about? The Julius Erving.
Yeah, the 71s, right?
Yeah,
76,
76.
77. That's ironic.
Yeah, the 76ers. Yeah. I think that team is underrated. I value in tier 3, you have to have a bench. That's why the modern teams are almost always better than these ones. Like the Bulls could beat this team, even though this team is better top to bottom, or at least in terms of star power. The Bulls could beat them because they have like 70 years for the bench, and then this one is only like 7 or 8 deep. You know, before you get into like David Miller, James Smith, John Brown, like those guys, the generic.
2K generics, man.
Like the 76ers, I think are the best team in terms of like the bench because their whole bench is like actual players. But I think like the problem with them is the fact that Julius Erving's not as good as he was. Like 2K16 Julius Erving, I think other than 2K16, D Rose was the best like mid-range shooter I've ever played with. You know, like he could hit every single mid-range. But like I think that
I was gonna say Tony Parker.
Yeah, no, I don't. My brother used Tony Parker and scored 50 on me, but I never got a hang on release. Like I couldn't get a hang of release. That's the problem with some of these people. The release is just so garbage. You know, like World Be Free. I don't know if you can see him. He's like 6'2". He has like his legs like kick out. He's like Michael Kidd Gilchrist with his release. You know, it's like, what am I meant to do with this? But like, I think those are the 5 teams from tier 3. What do you think? Do you think there's anyone that we missed there? It's like if you're gonna build around someone or if you're gonna use a team, which one would you recommend? I didn't name many because I don't like the modern teams in tier 3. In my opinion, I don't think they're that good. But that's just me.
For me, probably it would most likely stand with let me see. Probably it would go with the Portland Trailblazers, 90 to 91. You know, the Clyde the Glide Drexler, you know, that guy was just murdering them, man.
I think I played against them one time. The Lakers, I swear, both versions are straight up AIDS. If you play I don't know how this is a thing, but they always play their full starting 5 for the entire time. That's how I went from like, I don't remember, I think it was development, down to college in like the span of 5 games. Because I played people who used garbage teams, but they only used the starting 5. And somehow, even though they had the Gatorade symbol and definitely were at like 40 health or 40 stamina, they still were managing to score like when they were at 100. It's like, what am I meant to do here? You know, like this is not a thing. You know, or they would call timeout to get them right back to full energy. It's like, how is this a thing? This is not a thing. Like, what is this? You know, but the Magic Johnson and Vlad Divac, those are 2 guys just killed me one time. I was using.
Oh yeah, the 91 Lakers. Yeah, those
are. The 91 Lakers are hella underrated because, like, if you know what you're doing, James Worthy, Vlad Divac, and Magic Johnson are all you need. But like, even though they have no bench, like, I feel like the bench is the most important part in this game. At least whenever you have like talking about the best of the best teams, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've never played. I'm actually gonna give that. Wait, let me see how many generics they have. They have Mark Bryant. Is that Kobe's dad? No, that's not Kobe's dad. That's a different guy.
Wait, are you talking about the 76ers?
No, the Trailblazers.
Because on the 76ers, he's on there.
Wait, who?
Kobe Bryant's dad, Joe Bryant.
Is he actually? I don't see him. Oh, wait, that's his actual dad? Are you serious? Yo, yeah. Dude, I didn't realize. I was wondering. I was like, I always saw like Brian. I was like, I wonder if that's Kobe's dad. And it's like,
it is, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it actually is, yeah. But like, I feel like the 76ers, as you mentioned, the Trailblazers, the Lakers, both versions, like Jerry West and Wilt Chamberlain are straight cheat codes.
Jerry West is so cheese. His defense.
Dude, no, Wilt Chamberlain's even more because he gets every freaking board. The Bucks. I swear I've never seen anyone use the Bucks. I know why. Because I used them one time.
84, 85 bucks?
No, the '70s Bucks, the one with Oscar Robertson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There's a reason
Because they
that
had no bench.
yeah,
They got no.
I used him one time. And thank Christ, the guy was so bad because the second I subbed, I was up by like 20 points and I subbed on the bench. I was like, oh crap, this is like a whole bunch of generics. What am I meant to do here? So Kareem ended up playing like 10, 15 minutes. You know, it's like out of for you guys wanting the 5-minute quarters for 4 quarters. So 15 minutes is basically like playing like 40 minutes in today's NBA. It's gonna kill your player unless you have like LeBron or someone like that who has like endless stamina. And even then,
Or James Harden, yeah.
like, but like a Kareem, I swear, I've never felt a better center. The problem with that team is the fact that there's only 2 or 3 scorers. You know, like McLaughlin can hit a shot every once in a while. And let me see his
Oscar
name.
Robertson is
Dandridge
pretty.
can score. You know, like Dandridge can score. Oscar Robertson's like the best kept secret on this game, other than I'll get to him in tier 2, but I think he's one of the best players in tier 3, if not the
Yeah,
best scorer. Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta start hurrying up.
Oh yeah, sorry. All right, so we're gonna get to tier 2. All right, so I think tier 2. I have a lot to say about the Clippers. I'll get to them in a second. I think they have to be in this. The Lob City Clippers. I think the champion Mavericks, and I think the
I would
06
put Champion Mavericks at tier 1. They're extremely underrated. And their offense is just beyond meets. I don't know how they
Is the '90s Warriors in there? I think the '90s Warriors. I'm
Run
scrolling through.
TMC Warriors.
Run
They're
TMC,
really
yeah.
underrated.
Yeah, I think they're in there as well. I'm trying to find who all of them are. Hang on, let me see who they are. Where
I
is
would
it?
put
The
the
06
Miami
Cavs.
Heat in there.
LeBron is the best kept secret on it. That version is the most unstoppable card I've ever freaking played with.
Oh, the 06 Cavs. If you
Yes.
put Chris Paul in there, they're just
Yeah,
unstoppable.
you got down 2K's like League of
Yeah.
Legends. Yeah. But that honestly, that Cavs team, like I played so many people online. I hate the Trailblazers, and this guy posterized the crap out of like Carmelo over and over and over. And I played the Lakers, the '97 like the one with like the '93 Shaq and like a bunch of '80s. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I played that. You know what happened? He posterized Shaq like 4 times in the game, like with windmills and stuff. Like he was windmilling Kobe Bryant at the end of the game. I was like, dude, this guy, once he starts the dunk animation, it's like Jordan and Giannis. Like you just have to pray to God that you get the ball and don't foul him on the dunk animation because he fouled me like 4 times.
I know how to stop Giannis. Just put Ben Simmons on him. Just put Ben Simmons on.
I played my brother with this team. Like he used Ben Simmons as like a joke. Because I told him, like, Ben Simmons got a 3-point jumper now. He's like, yeah, no, he doesn't. Let me test this out. And you put him on LeBron. No, it wasn't Charlie. It was Josue. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
I played Josue with this team. I swear to God, Ben Simmons got 360 windmilled on. Like, reversed, like, 360. It was like, dude, this dude is like, this version
Giannis is probably the best player in the game right now.
This LeBron version is the best player, 100%.
Which one?
You know how to like, huh?
The 06 Cavaliers?
Because he's literally Giannis on steroids. Like honestly, like because he has all the fancy dunk. Giannis is like straight up just dunk in the ball, you know. But this dude is the version of LeBron.
Dude, if you really check Giannis's badges, he has quick draw on goal.
Yeah, I
don't know how that's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. But like
he doesn't even have a draw.
This LeBron has Lob City finisher, Hall of Fame, relentless finisher, Hall of Fame, consistent finisher, Hall of Fame, contact finisher, Hall of Fame. Like this version of LeBron, I think has the most badges. No, he has the second most badges, and he has interceptions like gold.
Who has the most badges?
Gold? Huh?
Jordan, I'm guessing.
The Heat and the Cavs both have the most badges. But yeah, this version I think is the most athletic, and I think is the best top to bottom because he's like this version of LeBron is like the most. The second he gets in the paint, you're like, oh shit, this version.
With the Miami Heat, LeBron, that one's a lockdown defender. LeBron,
no, this one is too. This one's second best attribute is perimeter defense. Like this one's still a lockdown defender, and this one's as good because he has the gold instead of the silver intimidator, and he has the Showtime. What's it called? Hall of Fame.
That badge does nothing.
No, it does. That's why he does all these windmills. That's why Giannis doesn't do the windmills, even though he has them equipped. You know, like Giannis has some like the light windmills. He has those equipped, like the 2-hand and all that stuff. He just doesn't do it because he doesn't have the Showtime. That's what does the fancy dunks and the fancy like alley-oops and stuff. You know, like that's what.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what that does. That's what that you're more likely to just do it. But I think the 06 Cavs, I think LeBron, when he gets him to the rim, is the most unstoppable person in the game. but I think the 13 Clippers are the best team, and that
Don't
should
forget
be
the
elite.
64 and 65 Boston Celtics. You know, Sam Jones and
That's not tier.
Bill Russell.
That's tier 2, or that's tier 1, right?
No, I would say tier 2.
I think that's tier 2. That's either tier 2 or tier 1. Like that team is. I think that is actually tier 1 because of the starting 5 and then John Havlicek off the bench. But I think that the Clippers, dude, that team has it all. The only mismatch I've ever played was
small forward.
Huh?
Small forward position.
No, that was no. You have Hedo Turkoglu, bro. He is like base 11 release, bro. He's like the
who really can defend on the small forward? If you have KD, you know, going up against.
You don't ever play anyone who has a great small forward. You play people who have good centers and good point guards, which is perfect for this team. The only one
ton of great small forwards, you know, in this game. Paul George.
In tier 2, not many. You don't play the Pacers because they don't have their bench.
But look at LeBron. If he put the 06 Cavs on there, you know, that's just
I played the dude with the Clippers, and he just did dunk animate. But the problem is DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin, you just have to double team him with them, and there's nothing he can do. Even though LeBron has the speed to get by him, you know, they have the defense and the intimidator and all that stuff to stop him once he gets the drives going. But I feel like the Clippers.
I'm gonna have to clock out on this one because I gotta hurry up and get on going.
All right, we'll do part 2 sometime later, guys. So Matthews, thank you for coming. To continue the 2K tiers, we'll do the rest of tier 2, the beginning of tier 1, and then we'll talk about our jobs later on, which should be an interesting based on today's events. So Matthew, thank you for coming. This is part 1 of In the Zone. Matthew, I'll let you sign off. Do you want anything to say again?
Well, Giannis isn't winning the 2020 championship. That's all I gotta say.
That's a bold claim. We'll come back in a bit, guys. Thank you again, Matthew, for recording, and we'll see you later.